Hello, how's it going, y'all? I am here to talk to you guys about the newly announced 7-star Terra raids. I just saw this earlier. I say earlier, last night. It's now the morning after. And I wanted to make a video about it because I had a lot of ideas for the Charizard raid events beforehand of what Pokemon could potentially be good about it. I didn't really think of making a video about it, but for this one I thought I'd make a video because I have a lot of ideas of what could actually be some good Pokemon for dealing with the new 7-star raid that has been announced, the Fighting Terra Cinderace. Now, when it came to the Charizard raids, they actually were quite difficult, and a lot of the times you did have to have a good full group of 4 people with some support as well as good attacking Pokemon. So I wanted to discuss a good mix of both of those things that I thought would work well with this. Now obviously we're going to have to, a lot of this is going to be just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks. But we won't really know what's going to work properly until we know the actual moves that the Cinderace has. But luckily Cinderace doesn't have a crazy amount of coverage type-wise. So we can really pick a lot of things that would probably work pretty well. And even just looking at the Charizard Terra raid, it really didn't have a lot of coverage. Right, really the only thing it had was it had Terra Blast and Dragon Pulse for dragon coverage because it was Dragon Terra. It had its fire and flying moves, and then other than that, Focus Blast. So really not a lot of coverage outside of just its Terra type and also its original stab types, fire and flying. So if we go off of that and assume that Cinderace is going to be similar, then it's very possible that it won't really have a lot of coverage outside of just fire and fighting moves. So I came up with some ideas. I made a whole document here. So I believe, so if we look at the left side here, you can see these are the moves I assume these are the moves most likely that the Cinderace is going to have out of anything else. For fire moves, Pyro Ball, Flare Blitz, probably, I imagine Pyro Ball more than Flare Blitz. Flame Charge it could have for speed control, Fire Punch as just like a more accurate fire move to be able to hit. I assume that since Charizard had basically only special moves, Cinderace is probably just going to be a physical attacking mon with just physical moves, even though it can run special moves and actually has not a bad special attack stat. But to be honest, Charizard has a pretty decent physical attack stat, but they didn't give it any physical moves, even though they could have. They could have gave it moves like Steel Wing and Earthquake for like even better coverage, but they just didn't. So I'm assuming Cinderace is going to be the same, but on the physical side, it's only most likely going to have physical moves. The only move I could see it having specially on the special side that actually could be kind of dangerous for some of the mons I thought would be good for this is Electro Ball, which was a move that a lot of people did run on Cinderace because of how fast it is and how much damage it can do to a lot of Pokemon that otherwise would counter Cinderace. But I believe, like I said, we'll just have to wait and see what the moves are. But either way, I'm just going to go all through all this. For fighting moves, Counter could be scary if it has Counter. That could be annoying. There are Terra Raid Pokemon like Tatsugiri that do run Counter, so it's not completely out of the question that they would maybe put it on a 7-star raid, I think, which would lower your options a bit, but not entirely. Low Kick, High Jump Kick, Low Sweep are all, I think, pretty likely to be there as the fighting type coverage. Bulk Up it could have for setting up, quite likely. Acrobatics and Bounce. I mean, flying coverage doesn't really help it that much. I mean, I don't think there's a single mon here I have that's even weak to flying. So I don't know if it would even have flying coverage, and if it does, wouldn't really affect much. And then the other crazy coverage could have Iron Head for fairy types, Gunk Shot for fairy types, Zen Headbutt. I don't know why I would have Zen Headbutt. It doesn't really cover anything that it's weak to as a fighting type. As a fighting type, it's obviously only going to be weak to fairy, flying, and psychic. So I could see maybe having Iron Head, Gunk Shot, or Sucker Punch to cover some of its weaknesses. I don't imagine it would have any more than maybe one of them. I feel like it's probably most likely going to have fire moves, fighting moves, maybe a couple of setup moves like Sunny Day or Swords Dance, bulk up, and then maybe Iron Head or Zen Headbutt or Sucker Punch as an extra coverage move. Just like Charizard's only really had one move outside of its Terra type and its normal types. But let's get to the actual mons that I think will be good for this. So, quite a few options. Skeleturge, bulky, fire ghost type, immune to its fighting moves, resists its fire moves, resists, other than Sucker Punch, resists a lot of its other coverage moves, and just generally a pretty good mon. Unaware also would make it so that it doesn't have to worry about Cinderace buffing its stats a bunch, so pretty solid I think overall. Since it's going to be Terra fighting, you can hit it with Torch Songs and power yourself up. You could Will-O-Wisp it to make it not, since you can burn it since it's not a fire type anymore with Will-O-Wisp, and then hit it with really strong hexes. Slack Off to keep yourself healthy. Shell Bell to get even more health, could potentially run other items, such as maybe Ability Shield, so that you keep Unaware on you the whole battle, so you don't have to worry about any of the stat buffs. I think could be a solid choice, maybe not the best, but decent maybe. Dash Bun, I think, again, will just be good, because it's Dash Bun, it's immune to fire moves with its big body, it resists fighting moves, it's got naturally really good physical defense already, ability shield to keep big body so you're constantly immune to those fighting moves. The only thing could obviously be a trouble if Cinderace does carry Iron Head or Gunk Shot. It's not going to be as good, but we'll have to wait to see what it actually has in terms of moves. Just use the same kind of stuff. Play Rough for solid damage, super effective. Charm over Snarl. Snarl was good because it chipped damage and lowered the special attack of Charizard, but Charm, -2 attack, pretty helpful. Howl to buff everybody else if you're all running physical attackers, and Helping Hand, just generally good move. Azumarill also, again, just like with Charizard, will be really good here. Play Rough, Belly Drum, Liquidation, I guess. I don't know, I threw it on there just because. But you obviously want to be Terra Fairy with Play Rough, the huge power. Could run Ability Shield or Citrus Berry. Probably Citrus Berry's better to keep a little bit healthier. But also, yeah, Azumarill also gets Charm. So, you know, could also play a bit of support if necessary. Now, the two I think is, unless this thing has Electro Ball, I feel like these two next mons, Pelipper, Gyarados, are going to be the best mons for this. Unless it has Electro Ball, which it might, we'll see. But Pelipper and Gyarados both resist fighting and fire. Pelipper has naturally good physical defense, and Gyarados has Intimidate. They can both hit with flying type moves. Gyarados a little harder because you only really can have Terra Blast flying on it, which means you'd have to wait till you can Terrestrialize to really hit it super effectively. But so I feel like Pelipper might be better overall because sets up Rain with Drizzle, so it weakens the fire moves even more. You can use Chilling Water in the Rain to hit not super effective damage, but stab plus the Rain, and it lowers its attack stat, does decent damage. 100% accurate Hurricanes for super effective damage in the Rain. Air Slash in case, you know, maybe have Air Slash's backup in case the Rain gets took away or runs out. But you could also just run Rain Dance to set it up again. Roost for healing. I feel like Pelipper could actually be insanely good for this. Gyarados, maybe not as much because, like I said, you don't really have any good actual flying moves other than Terra Blast. So, yeah. Outside of that, also Ceruledge and Armarouge. I don't have them next to each other here, but you can see they're both on here. Both could be really good as well. Both Ceruledge immune to fighting moves, Flash Fire immune to fire moves, and then Armarouge immune to fire moves with Flash Fire and resists fighting moves. Now, obviously, if it runs Sucker Punch, they both get kind of done in by that. But again, don't know until we actually know what the moves are. So unless it has that, these two could be insanely good. Set up Swords Dance with Ceruledge. You can have Psycho Cut for super effective damage, or just run Bitter Blade to stay healthy and do just stab damage, or just run Shadow Claw as well. Just a good metronome on it, just to use the same move over and over, get stronger and stronger. With Armarouge, maybe a bit better because you can Calm Mind, you can Acid Spray to lower its def by 2 stages, hit it with Stab Psychics, super effective damage. You can Will-O-Wisp it to burn it. So Armarouge is the better offensive option, Ceruledge the better defensive option, since it's immune to both of its stabs whereas Armarouge isn't immune to both, but does resist one and is immune to the other, so both could be amazing options. I put Mudsdale on here as well, because at first my idea was it has stamina, and this is going to be probably just physical attacking, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? You're getting hit by fire moves, you may get burned quite easily, and then all of a sudden you're not that useful, and Mudsdale just doesn't really have that many good moves, really, outside of just spamming Earthquake, which you're not even hitting it super effectively, so kind of nah on that one. Salamence also could be amazing. Resists fighting, resists fire, doesn't get hit super effectively by any of the coverage moves that Cinderace can get. You can intimidate with it, you can set up Dragon Dances, you can run special with Hurricane if you have a Pelipper on the team with you, and then you can run Dual Wing Beat and Hurricane, both great stab options. You could run a special one or a physical one depending on teammates that you have. And just, I think generally Salamence could be amazing for this. Insane damage, intimidate to lower its attack stat, just amazing. Slowbro, just like with Pelipper, resists both of its stab moves, Chilling Water to lower its attack, Psychic for super effective damage, moves like Yawn, Nasty Plot, Slack Off, all great support moves for yourself and your teammates. Shell Bell to keep yourself healthy, and also something I forgot to put on Cinderace's moveset. Cinderace does get taunt and is a fast taunt user. With Slowbro, you have Oblivious, you're immune to taunt, which means you can spam Nasty Plots, Slack Offs and Yawns as much as you want, even if it does have taunt. So could be an option if it's a taunt user. Or you could just bring somebody else like Grimmsnarl, who's next, and taunt it first. But Grimmsnarl, again, I think pretty much Grimmsnarl's always, for the most part, going to be a good mon for these. Obviously, if it does have Iron Head or Gunk Shot, you're going to be getting kind of hurt by that. But if you're just fully invested HP in defense and you set up Reflect, you're still going to be taking, hits decently well. And then other helpful moves, obviously, Taunt it, Thunderwave it, Helping Hand your teammates, Spirit Break for super effective damage, and stab damage. Just always a good support mon, Grimmsnarl. Good option, I think. And then the only other option I thought of, off the top of my head, was Bruxish. Not a super bulky mon, but resists fire and fighting moves. And Strongjaw Psychic Fangs? Insanely strong. That'll do a lot of damage. Also, and Bruxish gets Swords Dance, which I didn't know. Gets Chilling Water, gets Screech, Swords Dance, Taunt, a lot of really good moves. You could easily run like 3 Bruxish in a support mon, have all of you set up Swords Dance turn 1, and then Screech turn 2, and then Psychic Fangs turn 3, have a Grimmsnarl there, a Thunderwave to taunt and reflect, so that you all survive those turns, and then just Psychic Fangs turn 3 and potentially just one-shot it. I mean, it could work. I don't know, but like I said, we really don't know what this is going to be like until it's out and we know what the actual moves are going to be, what coverage it has, but there's at least a few mons here that are going to work regardless, because like we said, like I'm saying, it's not going to have that much coverage. It's maybe going to have one move outside of fighting and fire that's going to deal with hitting other types, but other than maybe one, maybe 2 moves. If it doesn't have Electro Ball, Pelipper, amazing. If it does, Armarouge, Slowbro, Salamence, Bruxish, all amazing options. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful. It gave you guys some cool ideas for mons that will be useful for Cinderace. Plenty of time to maybe pick a few of these mons and get some of them kind of, maybe not use all your materials and all your resources to make these Pokemon right now. Could potentially just have them ready to get buffed with your XP candies and bottle caps and everything. Maybe wait until the day it comes out, find out what kind of moveset it has, and then decide from there which Pokemon to actually use out of these. But I just wanted to give you guys a bunch of cool ideas for mons that I think will be really good for these 7-star raids. And I'll definitely be trying out some of these, and we'll just see how it goes. If you guys have any other ideas that I didn't think of, you can throw it in the comments. If you think maybe there's something I missed moveset-wise with the mons here, or if there's just a Pokemon I'm completely overlooking that you think would be really good for these raids. Either way, I look forward to reading you guys' comments. Thank you for watching the video. Good luck with the raids when they come out at the end of the month, and I will see y'all later. Have a good one. Bye bye.